Hi Sagittarius, welcome to your May 2024 Astro Tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, but if you're only going to watch one, make sure it's for your ascendant. It's going to be that much more accurate for you on the day-to-day level. As always, I am using whole sign tropical Western astrology for those of you that would like to know. And also, it's worth noting, if I ever forget to give you the transit dates or the degrees, you will be able to find that stuff in the description box below the video. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for the first transit that I want to look at, on the 1st of the month, right? So right out of the gate, Mars will come into the sign of Aries, coming into your 5th house. The 5th house is perfect, right? It's a perfect time for some kind of new health and fitness regime. Now, it's not the kind of maintenance health like, you know, health and vitality of the 6th house. The 6th house is more kind of the maintenance, but the 5th house is like, you know, it's like your hobbies that have like a fitness slant to it. It's the yoga, it's the Tai Chi, it's the, you know, running with friends, it's the jujitsu, it's all of those kinds of things that make your heart race a little bit. So this is a really good time for you. It's the next 5 to 6 weeks, let's say, because Mars takes that long to move through a sign. Mars is in its own sign, so it's very, very strong here, right? This is a time to use this Mars energy to that, like, to the greatest effect as well. But remember that the 5th house is also pleasure and romance. It's sex, sensuality, all of those things. It's kind of like, you know, when you first meet someone and they make you a bit giddy and they make you a bit giggly and all of that kind of stuff. That is the sexuality of the 5th house. It's pleasure, it's sex, it's fun, it's getting to know somebody on all kinds of levels. So this could be a really good time where you're fired up about life. And if you've got children, this could also be that you're spending more time with your children, especially doing things that are very active. Now, since Mars for you also rules your 12th house, because Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, this could be a return to something that really feels like a wonderful experience again. There's like a sense of nostalgia about this one for you guys as well. It's like you're going back to something. So, you know, maybe you're getting your dance on, maybe you're getting your flirt on, maybe you're going out, right? Maybe you're doing a little bit of partying, maybe you're just getting back to a time where you feel a bit more like yourself. There's definitely an element of you, because Mars, remember, it's a severing energy, right? So this is also a time to release any form of imposter syndrome, to start a personal business. The 5th house is your personal business. It's speculative endeavors as well. You can make excellent headway with this transit. So I will say to you, don't waste it, right? Because you could get more out of it than most. So for this, you've got the Temperance card, which is your energy. Temperance is Sagittarius. You've got the Empress, okay, and you've got the 3 of Wands, which is also the 3 of Wands is actually Jupiter in Aries, right? So you've got, what do we see here? We've got the Empress, number 3. You've got the 3 of Wands, that's also 3. So 2 3s represents a calming influence. I think the way that you find that calming influence through this 5th, because, you know, it's Mars, it's not really known for calming, right? But I think the way that you find this, or the way that you use it, the way that you tap into it, is by really getting into your embodied state, right? Where you become more of yourself, where you realign with your physical body, where you come back into contact with yourself in some regard. That Temperance card as well. Temperance is what I call the Hierophant set free. And so what this has an element of bringing balance back into your life, but it's the balance of pleasure. It's bringing the joy, the romance, the pleasure, the creativity, the fun back into your life. And this might be through some kind of physical, tangible hobby or some kind of experience that you've been longing to have again that sort of reignites you in some way. So I absolutely love this. I think this, out of all of the Mars sort of transits that people have got, I think this is probably one of the best. So go you. All right. Now that was on the 1st of the month, right out of the gate. On the 16th of the month, Mercury is going to move into the sign of Taurus. Now, as you can see, Taurus is already pretty packed, right? We've got Jupiter in Taurus, it's about to leave. We've got Uranus in Taurus, still there for a while. Sorry, you've got the annual sojourn of the sun moving through Taurus, right? On top of that, you've got Venus there, and now you have Mercury. This is what we call a stellium of epic proportions, right? This is your 6th house of physical health, vitality, and body really being ramped up. Now, this is your health. This is, you know, the grind. It's your day-to-day habits, patterns, routines, what you do on a daily level. It's also the 6th house is pets. So if you've got pets, you might be spending more time, more money, potentially even on them. This is a stellium in the 6th. Now for you, especially because you've got Mars in the 5th. So Mars in the 5th is bringing that active, energetic, sort of passionate energy in. And the 6th house is benefiting from that. But also the 6th house is giving you... the word that I want to use here. The 6th house is giving you, it's giving you a boost on that daily level of productivity, right? So you're going to find that your focus will very much be on work, the daily grind, your physical health, how all of this new stuff that's coming into your world sort of really impacts your physical health and fitness. I think that you will be loving life at this time. I really do. I will say that the work life gets very busy here, super busy in fact, and it's like you suddenly find yourself having to really show up for yourself but also for others, right? Mercury is amplifying your voice here. It's really getting you to level up by sharing what it is that you're, you know, especially when it comes to work, any of your ideas, things that maybe you haven't wanted to talk about before, now you get a chance to do it. And obviously Mercury for you rules your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, significant others, and also your career. This energy of this stellium is enhancing your career very, very nicely, and it's also speaking to your money house as well. So this could be an absolute, this could be, your career starts to really take off in some way, or you start to gain traction. Maybe there's a chance here to make more money than usual through these avenues. And at any rate, I will say that your daily grind and chores at this time, they might seem to be never ending. It's like as soon as you finish with one task, like there's a whole bunch more and you're like, okay, am I going to get a break at any moment? For this, you have the Emperor, the Tower, okay, and the 3 of Cups. So there's a couple of ways that this could show up, right? One of them, in the context of the 6th house, wherever there are work problems or issues, i.e., something, it's like, I don't know if you've ever had that where like in the office, like 2 or 3 people fall out and it's just like, it affects the whole atmosphere in the place. This is very possible, and I am going to say stay out of it. There's such a concentration of energy in your 6th house. You don't want to add another another thing to the to-do list. Now, that's one way this could happen, like a break in a friendship of some sort, or a break in the office community, let's say. Another way that this potentially shows up, because the Tower card with the Emperor, this can see an institution of some sort of falter. So what I will say is, because there's such a stellium in that 6th house, there could be something that if you're employed by somebody else, or even if you have your own business, this could be something that happens within the organization that kind of causes a bit of headless chicken syndrome for everybody, right? Where people just kind of seem to be a bit out of the sorts. This could also be a wonderful reunion that shows up for you that you really don't expect. And maybe one that it's not necessarily that it's unwelcome, but it might just be like, okay, I never expected to run into this person again, let alone sort of, at my workplace or whatever the case might be. Either which way, this also speaks to your local sort of, I say your local environment. Your 3rd house is more your local environment, but this could be that some of the mundane spaces and places that you visit go through some shifts or some changes in some regards, and maybe even potentially there's a shock closure. All right, so there's that to consider. So the third transit that I want to look at is on the 19th of the month. The North Node and Mars come into a conjunction in your 5th house. This is a fated moment in your romance and your luck and your pleasure sector. So this could be a wonderful meeting of a romantic nature. If you're single, you can meet somebody that absolutely blows your socks off. It could be sexy, it could be exciting. If you've got children, there could be some kind of big development in the life of your children that impacts you in some way, shape or form. It doesn't have to be bad, right? But it's just when we're talking about things happening with the nodes, it's amplified. Especially with the North Node, because this is bringing something in. It amplifies something that is it's highlighting something that's going to be a part of your world moving forward. And with it being Mars, and Mars ruling also your 12th house, this could be, again, a reconnection of some sort that maybe is unexpected. For this, you've got the 10 of Wands, you've got the Page of Cups, and you've got the Knight of Cups. I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are pulling a... I wouldn't be surprised if some of you are pulling a child out of school. That could, for any number of reasons. It doesn't have to be an awful one, but I would not be surprised if some of you are pulling a child out of school. I would also not be surprised if you've got children who are very active, maybe they're in sports or whatever. This could be that some of them get scouted. This could be, someone comes to you and says, look, your kid shows a lot of promise. We really would like to take them on board to train them if you're interested. And I gotta say, with this, it does look like a really solid offer. That 10 of Wands, though, does suggest that you might need to move in order to make this happen. Unless you're, if you're comfortable and your kid is old enough to kind of go away, to train, 12 hours, well, it's not 12 hours a day, but you know what I mean, like 6 hours a day to be an elite gymnast or whatever the case might be. This is a wonderful opportunity for them. And I have to say, Mars North Node, it's a once in a lifetime offer. And if you've been with me long enough, I don't say that kind of thing very often. I think there's often always chances for these kinds of things, but this could be an opportunity for them to really do something incredible with their lives, right? So just give it some consideration. If you're not up for sending them on their own, which quite frankly, I personally wouldn't be, I would just say, look, you know what, family, so-and-so has this wonderful opportunity and we're going to need to support them, which means we're moving. But that's me, right? There's a lot more to consider. Jobs, other kids, if you've got them, all of that stuff. But it's potentially a very big moment. All right, so on the 26th of the month, Jupiter is going to come into the sign of Gemini. This is setting up a once in 12-year transit. It's immediately going to conjunct Venus, the lesser benefic. So we've got the two benefics in your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, significant others, contracts, commitments, coming into an exact trine with Pluto in Aquarius, which is in your 3rd house. This is a big one, right? Jupiter in the 7th, in the 7th in Gemini. So first of all, Jupiter is you, right? Because it rules your ascendant. So this will increase and upgrade and bring fresh energy around partnerships, connections, collaborations of all kinds. Healing and luck will come through partnerships of all kinds, whether these are personal, professional, or platonic. Doesn't really matter. It just know that it's your connections to others, especially on that one-to-one level, that really bring the kind of change that you're looking for over the next 12 months. At any rate, there'll be lots of chances, especially there could be healing through partnership and relationship at this time. Potentially even sexual healing, I might add. Listen, right? Mars moving through the 5th house. Pleasure, sex, romance. Jupiter coming into the 7th. Partnerships, relationships, whether you're partnered or single. There is lots of options here, and I'm sure you will love to be hearing that. This is the two benefics. Venus brings a soft and gorgeous sheen as the ruler of your 6th house, because she rules Taurus, and the ruler of your 11th. For some of you, this is a potential that a friend might become something more. Pluto and your skill set and your mind and the conversations that you have potentially create some kind of incredible connections for friendships that amplify your reach, right? So for once, I have to say, it's like everything that you're looking for might be closer at hand than usual, right? Usually Sagittarians have to go out there into the world and explore and all the rest of it. This stuff looks like it's showing up on the doorstep. Boom, baby. Look at that, right? Sun card. I mean, you really look, what? With the World card and the Hierophant card. Like, look at the concentration of major arcana cards that you've had throughout this reading. There's no accidents here, right? There's big stuff happening for you guys this month, especially. The Sun card with the World card is some form of travel. It's also some kind of incredible level up when it comes to communities. That's that Pluto in the third house. And you've got this with the Hierophant card, which means that in some way, shape or form, the partnerships, the connections, the collaborations, even the friendships that are forged right now establish you within your community and also within your sector in the world in some regard. What is not to love, right? Like literally, what is not to love? So before we get into your lunations, as you, if you're watching this, but you know, before we get into May, my tarot course is open for enrollment. You can get your space on the link in the description box below. I only ever take up to and including 20 students so that I can get to know you on a personal level and really come through and deliver for you. You're going to get 12 weeks with me. You get up, I mean, each session is about 3 hours. I don't think we had one on the last course. We didn't have one that was under 3 hours. They asked incredible questions. We really dug into it. You get your replays, you get client demos, you get 12 PDFs. It's more than that, actually. You get 5 bonus videos, live client demos. I said that. You get so much with this. So if you want to learn tarot, remember, I'm not going to run this course again this year because I've got a lot of other things that I want to bring you in the second half of the year. So if you want to get on this, you know what to do. And I will say, as of next year, I'll be putting my tarot course up. So if you want to get it and you want to get it at the current price, now is your moment. All right, so your lunations. On the 8th of the month at 18 degrees, we will have a Taurus new moon. And this is a particularly very nice Taurus new moon. All right, it's lovely. It's no, you know, that eclipse cycle has been over for a good while, which is gorgeous. Love this, right? Absolutely love it. So it's a really nice new moon. In your 6th house, work, daily grind, health habits, all of that good stuff. You've got the gate 27 and caring. If you can do this health stuff, this health hobbies, group exercise, if you can do it in groups or with people or even Taurus outside, it would be that much more beneficial for you. And the gate 27 is a family card. It's a card of connections. This can be in your, you know, in these places and spaces where you're doing these workouts and all the rest of it, could be where you forge some of the greatest connections that you're going to have moving forward. So this could be wonderful for you. And then on the 23rd of the month, as if that wasn't enough, we are going to have your annual full moon. So a full moon in the sign of Sagittarius. This is all about you. This is the most visible, aside from when the sun is in your sign, but this is the most visible that you're going to be all year. If you've got something that you want to be seen or something that you want to launch out into the world that you want a lot of eyes on, this full moon is the time for you to do it. And for this, you've got the gate 61 and inner truth. What do you feel like you're ready to share with the world? That's what you're being encouraged to consider here. All right. All in all, I think this is going to be a fantastic month for you guys. I'm really excited to hear about it. Let me know in the comments. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Take care, and I'll see you soon.